Good evening and welcome to the October 11th edition of Office Hours presented by the Maryland Center for Collegiate Financial Wellness. My name is Dr. Tisa Silver Kennedy, and I'm the founder and executive director of the center. And I'm so pleased that you joined us tonight. If you bear with me for just one moment, I'm going to share my screen and tell you a bit about office hours, and then we'll get into the questions that have been submitted by our community. Okay, so hopefully you can see my screen at this point. So, I'm going to tell you a bit about the center, then I'll give you some information about office hours, and from there, we'll dive into the questions that have been submitted by our community. The Maryland Center for Collegiate Financial Wellness was founded in 2021, and we have an ambitious mission and vision for all college and career school students in the state of Maryland. We want them to have the opportunity to achieve these six pillars of collegiate financial wellness. Those are being creditworthy, ready, resilient, empowered, successful, and thriving. We're on a mission to help students and families build their financial life skills and empowering them to thrive. So, if that sounds like a mission that you'd like to support or to learn more about, please do visit us online at mccfw.org. Now, a bit about office hours. Office hours is our free semi monthly virtual student loan clinic that provides borrowers with a trusted venue to help them navigate student loans and prepare for financial success beyond repayment. Before we get into the questions that have been submitted from our community, I just wanted to say that office hours is presented for informational purposes only and should not be construed as financial or legal advice. And give me just one moment because I want to adjust so you all can see my slides in the big way. All right, there we go. So let's get into some updates. First, I want to share with you some victories. Cancellation by way of income driven repayment through the IDR adjustment, as well as public service loan forgiveness, both are moving forward. I'm happy to say we heard from a borrower who had $186,000 forgiven by way of the IDR adjustment not too long ago. So that person is really excited. We've also had a couple of recent PSLF victories come in within the past few days. In Maryland, the total that we've heard about is $178,000 within the past 4 days. And we also had a victory in Michigan of $244,000. So we are beginning to see things pick up again with the pace of people getting their approvals for public service loan forgiveness. And we are always excited to hear about the borrowers who have made it to the finish line. So if you have taken part in any of our programs, whether it's office hours or webinars that we might have presented with various organizations, please do reach out and let us know how things turned out for you so that we can celebrate with you and also add those to our tracker of the official tally of debt that we've helped people get out of through programs like public service loan forgiveness. Rewind a little bit. Get out of doesn't sound right because they've earned public service loan forgiveness. We just help them navigate the process and fill out the applications to get access to the benefit that they have earned through this program. And to that point, I am pleased to share that we are at about $10.25 million worth of debt canceled. Most of this is through the public service loan forgiveness program. So we are really excited to be able to help public servants again access this benefit that they have earned after working for 10 years for a qualifying employer and having loans in repayment for all of that time. So, congratulations to everyone who has crossed the finish line. And for those of you that are still waiting to hear about your applications, our thoughts are definitely with you. And like I said, please do let us know how it turns out so that we can celebrate with you and also document that impact. I just wanted to share an upcoming event we have next week, which is with the city of Gaithersburg. It's called What Parents Need to Know. And I think the timing of this is so appropriate because we've received a lot of queries from parents about Parent Plus loans versus private loans and what the borrowing options are for parents who are looking to help their children pay for college. So we have a webinar coming up with the city of Gaithersburg on October the 18th at 6 p.m. And if you'd like to know more about the events that are coming up as a part of this financial webinar series, you can visit the city of Gaithersburg online at gaithersburgmd.gov/FEC because these programs are hosted through the Gaithersburg Financial Empowerment Center. Now, I'd like to get back to PSLF a bit. As some of you know, I shared before that I actually applied for public service loan forgiveness as an official employee of a 501c3 nonprofit organization. I decided to apply for PSLF. I will tell you up front, it's not going to help me because the debt, the amount of debt that I have relative to my income makes it so that there will not be anything left to forgive by the time PSLF would be useful for me because I just became an employee a few months ago. But I still wanted to apply to keep the window open, but to also see what the experience is like firsthand applying for PSLF. And through this journey, short as it has been so far, I've been able to see what things look like as a borrower. And I've also had the opportunity to see what the system looks like on the employer side. So the screenshot that you're seeing here is the actual status tracker from my account with studentaid.gov, which shows that I created a PSLF form on September 15th of 2023. That same day, a preliminary review was conducted of my employer, which found that the employer is eligible for public service loan forgiveness. The request for the electronic signature was sent that day. Actually, it shows up twice. It was sent the following day. Then 2 days later, my employer updated information on the form and provided their e-signature. So my form was actually completed to the point of being ready to submit for review on September the 18th. So that process did not take long at all. But I am on day 26. I have not heard anything about the loans moving from my current servicer to Mohila as of yet. And this other screenshot from my account shows that the PSLF servicer will review my form. So the form has been sent because I use the electronic signature version, and there's no need for me to print it out, get it signed, and have it mailed. And they're also suggesting that I submit another form next year. And that's good practice for everyone who has applied for PSLF. The employment verification that you fill out is only good up to the date of the signature on that application. So, in order for your account to keep on climbing, you need to make sure that you complete applications kind of on a rolling basis. It's recommended that you complete the form once every 12 months, whenever you change jobs, and also once you reach that 120th month. And I'm thinking of one person in particular who I know October of this year marks 120 for her. And in a few days, she's going to be submitting her final PSLF application. And I will definitely report back on that victory once I hear that it has been confirmed. All right, so that's all for our updates. Now we can jump into the questions that have come in from our community. The first one is I received a notice that my loans will be in an administrative forbearance. Why? And what does that mean? Well, the first thing I'd like to tell this particular borrower is you are not alone in that. We have seen many people whose loans have been placed into an administrative forbearance, commonly for the months of October and November. And those borrowers were in different situations. So I'm going to give you the definition of an administrative forbearance, and then I'll share a bit more about what those borrowers have been experiencing. So, per Mohila's website, as of earlier today, an administrative forbearance is defined as a temporary suspension of, a reduction of, or an extension of time for making principal and or interest payments on a Stafford, SLS, plus or consolidation loan that is granted by the holder or lender upon notice to the borrower or endorser, and that does not require a written request from the borrower or an agreement signed by the borrower before the forbearance is granted. So that is a really long way to say that it is a pause in payments, but it's not one that's been initiated by the borrower. It's administrative in nature that the servicer has decided to place your loans in this status where a payment is not required while they work out whatever they need to work out on the paperwork and processing trail. So most of the people that I've seen this for have submitted applications for PSLF or have recently applied for SAVE. And because it takes time for those applications to be processed, the loans have been placed into an administrative forbearance My guess is that that is so that the paperwork can be worked through. For the PSLF people in particular, I'm thinking of a couple of people who have a payment count, a qualifying payment count that is, that's more than 120. And for PSLF, 120 is the magic number. Once you get to that number, you're supposed to have the entire remaining balance of that debt canceled. But it takes some time between when you actually reach 120 and when the debt discharge is processed. So for the people who have the count that's higher than 120, my reasoning or my thought is that they've been placed into this administrative forbearance because they have reached 120, which means that they're not required to make any more payments. The debt should be forgiven. However, the time that it's taking to, send out that congratulations letter or process everything, it just wasn't going to be ready by the time their first payment was due. So their loans have been placed into an administrative forbearance, which means that they are not required to make payments. And hopefully, by the end of this 2-month forbearance, their PSLF applications will be approved and the debt discharge will at least begin being processed. For some others, they recently submitted an application for SAVE, and I'm thinking that because of the timing with this return to repayment, that it was more fitting to place them into an administrative forbearance while their applications for SAVE were evaluated so that they didn't get into a situation where they were late in making a payment that was due on their old repayment plan while they had the application in process for a new repayment plan. Um, Full disclosure, I don't work for Mohila and I'm not getting any inside information from them. I'm just looking at the patterns that I've seen with these notifications that are coming in about administrative forbearances. And like I said, we have seen many of them. And the good thing is that it's administrative. It's not something that's been requested from the borrower. And from what we've heard from people who have called Mohila to inquire about this very circumstance, later on, they will go back and make sure that the time spent in the administrative forbearance will count toward public service loan forgiveness. So if you are in the pipeline for PSLF and you're thinking that this is going to delay you, we've been told that that's not the case. As with all of this, I will let you know what happens so that we can make sure that the word that we've heard is indeed true. And if it turns out otherwise, I will let you know that as well. But good news is it's an administrative forbearance. It's not like a forbearance that a borrower requested, in which case the payments that were not made during that period would not count toward PSLF. All right, so let's move on to our next question. The question is, I need to find my account number to complete a paper consolidation application. I logged on to my servicer's portal and I can't find it. Where can I go? Now, you would be surprised how many people have difficulty with this. And I must raise my hand and say that I am one of those people who is helping a borrower. And they were actually logged into the AidVantage platform. And we looked at, the account home, the loan details, we looked at every tab and could not find the account number. And so, as in many cases, when I'm looking to find out, what people are dealing with right now or what, common student loan questions there are, I go to Reddit. There's a PSLF mega thread there, and there's also student loans mega thread. If you take a look there, you'll find people that are very candid about the issues that they're dealing with student loan repayment in general, but also student loan forgiveness. And on Reddit, I was able to see that if you go into the online platform, there is an area for your account profile. And when I was with the borrower in Advantage, we went there, but then we said, oh, that's more about, your name, your user ID, things like that. And we didn't dig deeper to see the account number. But apparently, if you go to the account profile, there should be something there that says account number, but then you have to click show full account number in order to see that number. And that number is important if you are completing a paper consolidation application because the application asks you to provide a loan code, the servicer name, the full account number for each loan, as well as the outstanding balance. And I know some of you are probably wondering, well, why on earth would you fill out a paper consolidation application when you can do it online at studentaid.gov? There are a couple of reasons. One is that For people who are pursuing that double consolidation loophole for Parent Plus loans, the paper application is necessary. If you use the online application, and you complete an application there, or even if that application is denied, you're shut out, at least from what we've seen, from being able to submit another online application. You're shut out for 180 days. And time is of the essence with this. So the paper application is a way around that. So if you have loans that are with A Advantage and you want to know your account number, I encourage you, please do try this. Make sure you can locate your account number, not just for paper consolidation applications, but just so that you know, because you're holding a debt. It's good to know the details of that debt, including the actual number of the account associated with the debt. All right. So we spoke it up. Double consolidation. This next question is: the payment is too high. I have Parent Plus loans and a FFELP consolidation loan. What will happen if I attempt the double consolidation loophole to bring it down? So, this is about repayment, and many people are finding that the payment plans that they're enrolled in right now are just not affordable, and they're wondering how they can get to a more affordable situation. And we're having an influx of parents who are asking that question because remember, Parent Plus loan borrowers only have access to one income driven repayment plan, and that is ICR, and that's only after they consolidate. ICR is the least affordable repayment plan most of the time. So for Parent Plus loans, the options are definitely fewer. So with consolidation, I wanted to take a step back and just look at what consolidation is about. Borrowers can consolidate to reduce the number of servicers. So if you have some loans with Nelnet, some with Ed Financial, some with Mohila, if you consolidate, all of those loans will be brought under the same umbrella for one loan, one bill, one servicer. Sometimes people also want to consolidate so that they can start a new repayment term, because by starting a new repayment term, you can get a lower monthly payment. Also, some people want to consolidate so that they can gain credit for their past payments that might have been ineligible for both income driven repayment cancellation and or public service loan forgiveness prior to these special rules of the one-time adjustment, as well as the limited waiver that expired late last fall. So for Parent Plus loan borrowers, there's something called the double consolidation loophole, which can help them gain access to more favorable repayment terms. For one thing, they can access more affordable income driven repayment plans instead of just ICR. And they also might gain access to a shorter repayment term. So there are definitely benefits there, but it's a process that has multiple steps. And that's what I'm going to walk you through after this example. So the example that you're seeing is about consolidation before and during the IDR adjustment, because the IDR adjustment has some very generous rules. So a lot of people did not want to consolidate before the adjustment, because if you consolidated your loans prior to the adjustment, you would not get credit for any of your past payments. So in this instance, we have two Parent Plus loans, both with 110 months of history. If they were consolidated, they would start with 0 months of history. And if a person was pursuing public service loan forgiveness, they would have another 10 years to go of making payments on the loans and also having that qualifying employment. However, things changed drastically during this IDR adjustment. During the IDR adjustment, those same two Parent Plus loans could be put together into a consolidation loan. And instead of starting fresh at 0 months, they would be granted 110 months of history. So that borrower would get credit for the repayment history attached to those individual Parent Plus loans prior to them being consolidated. But in this situation, if you were to take these Parent Plus loans and put them together into a direct consolidation loan, the result is still only one income driven repayment plan being available, and that is called income contingent repayment, the often least affordable of all the income driven repayment plans, but that's the only one that parents have access to. So, the double consolidation loophole helps you work around ICR. So, in this example, we're looking at a borrower who has Parent Plus loans that they took out for their child's education, as well as an old student loan that was already consolidated, but it's one that they took out for their own education. And this borrower, let's call her Ann, also works for the government. So, we've got four Parent Plus loans here, and we've got one FFELP consolidation loan. To get this process rolling with the double consolidation, you want to separate these loans into two groups. The first group would contain the Parent Plus loans. The second group would contain the FFELP consolidation loan. And what we're going to focus on in this first step is just the Parent Plus loans. So the first thing the borrower would do is take all of the Parent Plus loans and consolidate them with a servicer other than their current servicer. So this borrower's current servicer is A Advantage. They would want to complete the application to consolidate and select any servicer other than A Advantage. They would also need to complete the application for an income-driven repayment plan. Meanwhile, Group B, which would be that FFELP consolidation loan, would just sit there and you'd make payments on that loan as promised. After the Group A consolidation loan is originated, that becomes direct consolidation loan number one, and that completes our first round of consolidation. Now, they call this the double consolidation loophole because you've got to consolidate more than once. For some people, they have to do it 3 times, but in this situation, it only has to happen twice. So the first round is complete and started with 4 Parent Plus loans and a FFELP consolidation loan. And after that first round of consolidation, she's down to 2 loans. One is a direct consolidation loan that includes all of the Parent Plus loans. The other loan is that FFELP consolidation loan from many years ago. And here's where round 2 starts. Now, Ann would take the direct consolidation loan and consolidate it again, but this time consolidate it with the FFELP consolidation loan. And since Ann is working for the government and wants to pursue public service loan forgiveness, Ann could select Mohila as the servicer and then also apply for an income-driven repayment plan with Mohila. Now, once Ann does that, there's this old direct consolidation loan with the Parent Plus loans included, and then there's that FFELP consolidation loan. And I estimated the amounts of history on these loans based on her borrowing record. Once those 2 loans are put together, provided that the consolidation application loan gets in before December 31st of this year, or by December 31st of this year, 2023, that new direct consolidation loan will be given credit for the number of payments attached to the loan that has the greatest amount of history in that portfolio. So you have one loan with 135, another loan with 200 months. And when you put those together, the consolidation loan gets 200 months worth of credit, which is a huge benefit that hasn't always been there and will not always be there. So what is the point of doing all of this? For parents, is to get access to a repayment plan that has more favorable terms. So if you take a look at, let's assume Ann is single. She's got no dependents anymore and an adjusted gross income of $70,000. Based on that information, the standard plan for her doesn't include income considerations. It would give her a payment of $421 per month. ICR would give her $588 per month because that's that least favorable formula. If she had access to pay as you earn, the payment would be somewhere between $401 in the beginning and $564 as an estimate at the end of repayment. And if she's able to get into Save, which is the updated version of Repay, that payment would drop to $310 in year 1, and then $422 is the estimate for her last year of repayment. So you can see right away, ICR is at $588, Save/Repay is at $310. Even Pay as you earn offers something lower, which is $401. So it's definitely a way for Ann to get access to a lower payment. I do want to correct one thing. I had looked at the standard repayment plan, but the standard repayment plan for consolidation loans, the repayment term can actually be up to 30 years, not 25. So I need to go back and check my figures on this, but the dollar amount is correct, and that's $421 under the standard plan. The problem with the standard plan for consolidation loans is that it doesn't qualify as a qualifying repayment plan for the purposes of PSLF. So now you can see the incentive for people to go through all of this work of the double consolidation loophole so they can get access to more affordable repayment plans. All right, as a refresher on the double consolidation, this was 2 phases, and this is also an important nuance to note here. The first round should be completed using the paper application. The first round, again, was just taking those Parent Plus loans and lumping them together and also submitting a request for an income driven repayment plan along with the consolidation loan application. This is the process for someone that has both Parent Plus loans and student loans of their own. If all you have is Parent Plus loans, then this process would look differently. So remember, this is for Parent Plus loans and someone who has student loans for themselves as well. The first round needs to be completed on paper. The second round can be completed online. After that round one consolidation loan is dispersed, they would complete another consolidation application to consolidate the round one loan with the existing FFELP loan. And then they want to select MOHELA because they are pursuing public service loan forgiveness. Now, for this to work, you have to have more than one loan because you've got to consolidate more than once. You need to complete two consolidation applications and also choose two servicers. So if you go back and look at the example, I have the servicers noted because you want to make sure that you select servicers that you are not dealing with already in order to get this done. So if this person were to complete the consolidation application this week, usually it takes about 45 to 60 days for a consolidation loan to disperse. So if they were able to complete the first consolidation loan application, let's say this week, then I'm thinking that by early to mid-December, they should have that first round consolidation done. And then they can submit the second application online before December 31st. Please remember, the first round of consolidation should be completed using the paper application. The second cycle can be completed online. And for the most generous benefits, we need to get the application in by December 31st of 2023. I just want to share a quick note about this double consolidation loophole, and that is that there are plans for it to close on July 1st, 2025. So we'll be out there a bit longer, but it's definitely something that is not going to last forever. All right. So we got another question that's about consolidation. It says, oh, I guess it means I have loans that enter repayment in early 2001 that I consolidated in 2017. I went back to school and I'm still in school. Should I consolidate now for PSLF? So question is consolidation okay while you're in school? Well, I can tell you from a borrower experience that trying to consolidate loans that were in an in-school status resulted in that consolidation loan being rejected. And when you complete the online version, you're locked out for 180 days. So with this particular borrower, the 180 days passed about a week and a half ago. And so we got back together and they're still in school. So for consolidation to work, we're not going to be able to consolidate the loans that are in an in-school status because they have not entered a grace period and they are not in repayment. So if there are other loans that are not in that in-school status, those could be consolidated, but the loans that are in school cannot be consolidated because they have not entered repayment yet. All right. We've got another question. This one has to do with PSLF. This is the borrower who is submitting their last PSLF application. And the question is, since my count is probably higher than 120, should I select the forbearance? So another forbearance question. I'd like to take a look at this borrower's background first. So this is a borrower that applied for PSLF, I think around March. Right now, they have an eligible payment count of 7, but their qualifying payment count is 0. That means that their employment has not been verified by the servicer, even though they submitted the application, 7 months ago. So the person also has more than 10 years of employment history. So when we originally completed their application in the spring, we were hopeful that the debt would be forgiven before repayment resumed, but they're caught up in that kind of paperwork processing delay. And so now they're submitting an updated PSLF application that will give them credit for, another 7 months. And they're wondering, should I take the forbearance? In this case, I wanted to just look at the whole situation before saying, yes, take a forbearance. In a normal circumstance where someone had already had a qualifying payment count where we were sure that this application would put them over 120, then I could say, all right, maybe you should consider taking the forbearance because we already know you have months documented and this particular application would go in during your 120th month. After you've made 120, you don't need to make any more payments. However, this person hasn't received a qualifying payment count yet. So we don't know exactly how close they are to 120. We're estimating that they're at 120, but since we really don't know, what I don't want to happen for them is for them to choose the forbearance and then have a payment count come back that's something like, 115 or 116, because that would mean that the time spent in forbearance would not count toward PSLF. Whereas if they had stayed in repayment and all they needed was a few more months, we'd have fewer months to go without the forbearance than we would have with it. So my advice it was to opt out of the forbearance and just stay on track. And if it turns out that the count is more than 120, they can then request a refund. Well, not request a refund, they will get the refund once it's over. So we'll see how things go. The person actually completed the PSLF application, the updated one today, and they use the electronic signature. So hopefully, maybe in the first office hours of next month, we'll be able to come back and say that we have another victory by way of PSLF. All right. So I've been saying, get ready for repayment for the past few months, but at this point, repayment is here. I've made my first payment, and if you haven't made yours, it's probably coming up very soon. So now that it's here, question is, what should you do? As always, the best place to go for information about your student loans is studentaid.gov. You can view your loans, view your servicers, and view the repayment plan that you are currently enrolled in. If the payment plan is not affordable, please do use the loan simulator to explore your options. You can also reach out to your servicer to ask them as well. You want to make sure that your contact information is up to date within studentaid.gov. You also want to make sure that your contact information is up to date with your servicer. Now, we're getting a lot of complaints. I think that um, that's going to be constant, for a while since repayment just came back after more than 3.5 years in a payment pause. So once the system is, back up and running the way that it was prior to the pause, I think things will taper off. But for now, there's a lot of confusion. People are seeing payments that just, don't make sense and aren't affordable. And they're calling their servicers and experiencing 2 to 4 hour wait times on the phone, and in some cases getting conflicting information. And I just wanted to just say that yes, you know, getting inaccurate information and poor customer service, it's not good. It's not acceptable. But as you're going through this, just remember that the people that you're dealing with on the other end of the line, they're dealing with a lot too. A lot of this is new to them. We've never had a payment pause like this before. We've had a reduction in the number of servicers. We've had a reduction in funding for the servicers, so much so that they don't have as many customer service hours available anymore. We've had changes to public service loan forgiveness, changes to income driven repayment, and these people have to get trained and have to practice too. So just, as much as it is an inconvenience and it can be stressful for you, be mindful that it's probably also stressful for them because they're learning and they have a lot of people to answer to. But in the event that you have a problem with your loan servicer that you've tried to work out with them and it's just going nowhere, sometimes you need to escalate. And I want to share with you a few sources that you can use to take things to the next level if you cannot get resolution with the servicer. One is the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. That's the CFPB. You can submit a complaint online through their website. That's at consumerfinance.gov. And you'll see links in the chat for each of these options as well. So beyond the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, there's also the university, I'm not sorry, not the university, the U.S. Department of Education Ombudsman. You can submit requests there to the ombudsman, but they're very specific about the types of issues that they deal with. They also have a special process for complaints or reconsideration requests that have to do with public service loan forgiveness. At the state level, Maryland is a state that has a student loan ombudsman, and the student loan ombudsman for the state of Maryland is there to help with student loan servicer problems that include failure by the servicer to communicate with a borrower, errors in crediting principal and interest payments, misapplied payments, inaccurate interest rate calculations, billing errors, loan consolidations or modification errors, and or inappropriate collection activity or tactics. So you can just check the chat. We've got the links in there for the Maryland Student Loan Ombudsman, the U.S. Department of Education Ombudsman, as well as the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. But remember, the first point of contact for your issues, it's your servicer. Try to resolve the problem there. And if you cannot get a resolution with them, then you can take it to the next level with one or all of these options. A bit more about the Maryland Student Loan Ombudsman. If your loans are currently in repayment and you have a complaint about your student loan servicer, you can visit the Ombudsman online to file a complaint. And Maryland is also a state that has a student loan borrower's Bill of Rights. You can access that Bill of Rights through the state's Department of Labor and learn more about the protections to which Maryland borrowers are entitled and the obligations of student loan servicers. All right. So that does it for all of the questions that have come in for this, the October 11th edition of Office Hours. Again, my name is Dr. Tisa Silver Kennedy. I'm the founder and executive director of the Maryland Center for Collegiate Financial Wellness. Office Hours is something that we host semi monthly. It's a place where we answer questions that have come in by way of social media and our contact form on the website, which is at mccfw.org/contact. If you have a question, now's a great time to ask. You can drop it in the chat. I would definitely be looking. But if you have a question that comes up after the broadcast is over, please do feel free to reach out. You can tag us online at the MCCFW on Twitter, I should say X, Instagram, as well as Facebook. And we also place these videos on YouTube within a couple of days after the broadcast, and we annotate the videos so that people can go straight to the answers for the questions that are most concerning to them. And again, you can visit our YouTube channel. We are at the MCCFW on YouTube. If you've already subscribed, thank you. We appreciate you and your engagement. If you have not, please do check out our YouTube channel at the MCCFW. You can like and subscribe, and all of the office hours videos are kept in a playlist. And just recently, we added the footage from our annual virtual symposium that took place back in July. We had a lot of guests talking about policy issues at the federal and state level, borrower experiences, how many of our colleagues in higher education have helped their peers get public service loan forgiveness, and also the Student Financial Wellness Survey, which is a free national survey that institutions can use to gauge the financial wellness of their student bodies. So we've had a lot going on, and you can always find out the latest news by going to our Facebook page. Check us out on Instagram and Twitter. And for programming, go specifically to that YouTube page. All right. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for now. And I'm going to take a look in the chat to see if there's anything in there. I don't see anything at the moment. For those who have joined us and who have chimed in with those reactions, the likes and loves, we appreciate you. And also, on a more serious note, I just wanted to just send my thoughts and prayers and just wishes for healing and peace for the students, staff, administrators, and the general community around Bowie State University. Bowie State is very near and dear to me for several reasons. And what happened there at homecoming was just a very unfortunate tragedy. And I'm just hopeful that during this week where classes have been canceled, that the students, faculty, administrators, everyone who's a part of that community will be able to take some time just pause, reflect, and heal and come back stronger than ever. So to everyone from BSU, again, my thoughts, my prayers are with you. I'm definitely lifting you all up and hoping for peace and for healing. I would also like to extend those same sentiments to Morgan State University, which is where I graduated with my doctorate in community college leadership and higher education administration back in 2017. Had another incident there that's just definitely not characteristic of the university or the community, but very unfortunate and tragic. So, thinking of you all, wishing you all the best. And like I said, definitely sending every great thought, every positive thought for healing and for peace for all parties involved. Um, we were actually going to host an event at Morgan State around policy. We postponed it, and as soon as that new date has been set, we will definitely share that information with our barter community. I'm going to take a look back at the comments to see if we have any questions. And I do not see any at the moment. So, this is also a good time to share with you that we have another exciting project that's launching. It's called the No More O Less Project. This project is designed specifically by the center to help pre K through 12th grade educators in Prince George's County and Northeast Baltimore City to really help the educators. It's also open to administrators and staff to help them navigate public service loan forgiveness. They have qualifying employment working for schools, and we just want to make sure that as many people are able to access the benefits that they have earned by way of their career in public service. To get more information about that project, you can go to mccfw.org/KMOL, which stands for No More O Less. And we have a webinar to kick things off next Tuesday, October the 17th at 6:30 p.m. That webinar is open to all. So you can get the registration link by visiting mccfw.org/KMOL. Again, the webinar is open to all. And after the webinar, we will begin offering one-on-one advising sessions for free to educators and administrators in those two locales, Prince George's County and Northeast Baltimore City. So again, for more information, visit mccfw.org/KMOL. I'm really excited to see this project finally kick off. I'm going to take one more look at the comments. Um, I do not see any for now. If you do have questions that come up after the broadcast is over, please do reach out at mccfw.org/contact. That link is in the comments, and you can also tag us on social media. We are at the MCCFW on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, as well as at the MCCFW on YouTube. And since I do not have any other questions that I'm seeing in the comments, I'm going to go ahead and sign off for this evening. I would like to thank all of you who joined us for this edition of Office Hours. We really appreciate you tuning in, asking questions, and giving this material to the community, because we know if you have these questions, there are other people that have the exact same questions but just haven't asked. So thank you so much for trusting us with your questions and tuning in to hear us give the best answers that we can. Again, you can always find us at mccfw.org. And one more thing, if you go to our homepage, you will see our latest impact report for the 2022 to 2023 year. It's just a summary of some of the great work that we've been doing, including the victories that we have helped borrowers secure through the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program. And that report is available on our homepage at mccfw.org. So, with that being said, I appreciate you all. And until next time, be well.